I went to check on my video history, and turns out there has been no record of me playing my Tennin Institute deck before, even though I constructed it quite some time ago. So looks like this will be a game to show you. I'm planning to work on this deck quite a bit, see how competitive I can bring it. Alright, and I start with one of the most fantastic hands you can ask for. 3 pieces of ice, Restructure and Hedge Fund. So on the first turn I use Hedge Fund, on the second turn I use Restructure, and with that I get my both my centrals secured up. R&D is of paramount importance here because this is Kit. I'm not expecting her to run a Count Siphon, so I can live with just having 1 ice over HQ. But because now my HQ seems to be pretty saturated with agendas, I don't want her coming into HQ easily because I believe that's an Eli. Oh no, it's an ice ball on HQ. Yep, Kit can get through the first piece of ice easily, so I always want to have at least 2 pieces of ice guarding HQ and R&D so that she cannot get through with just 1 breaker. And that's the good thing about playing this Tennin deck against Kit, as opposed to other decks that play more horizontally. With other decks that play with less ice and more remotes, they need more ice to keep Kit out for a Kit that uses just a Code Gate Breaker. Whereas if I concentrate all my defenses on just 2 servers, I only need 4 pieces of ice, and there you go, I have 4 pieces of ice on the board. Alright, but since I decided to score the Brain Trust, that was a huge decision that I made. Probably not a smart one because that leaves me at 5 credits, not enough credits to rest all the ice on HQ. A good runner would be able to take advantage of that. But of course, he wouldn't know that I have so many agendas in hand. So yeah, I at least force him to use a lot of credits on his Stim Hack to trash my Sensen. And he conveniently dug out his Cyber Cipher while doing so, using the remainder of the Stim Hack credits with SMC. So that's a pretty smart move. The Cyber Cipher is aimed at R&D. It doesn't show on the board, but yes, it's pointed at R&D, which I'm more than happy to invite him because it's a Yagura on top of an Eli. It just costs 4 credits for me to rest, and he won't be able to get through without paying clicks. And then I rest the Ice Wall to keep him completely out. Remember that he encountered the Yagura earlier, so his ability is spent. I draw into more agendas, which is bad news. I can only click for credits now and hope that he doesn't run HQ again. Well, he gets his snowball out, and now he will snowball to victory. He aims himself at the correct server this time, HQ. So he's able to get through, and he will pluck out 1 agenda regardless. He gets the clone retirement. So that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I draw into a very, very timely hedge fund. I couldn't have asked for a hedge fund at a better time, but I'm pretty stuck now because I'm drawing into a medical breakthrough, yet another agenda. So that's very bad. I'm getting agenda flooding HQ. That's a problem when you don't draw your Jacksons early on, but I have so much economy. I already saw 3 out of my 8 economy cards in my deck, so I really can't be complaining. He runs HQ last click. Bad choice, because his Cyber Cipher isn't directed at HQ, he cannot get past the Tsurugi. I decided to end the run. This is a very rare decision. Most other corps will choose to trigger the 3 net damage, even if it means that they will get a successful run. This is there are 3 reasons why I wanted to end the run. Firstly, I didn't want to pay the extra credit to let him through. Secondly, he will get through anyways, and he will definitely score an agenda off the back of it. And thirdly, and most importantly, it will allow my Tennin ability to fire, which means I get 1 more credit on Ice Wall. 1 more advancement on Ice Wall. So those were the factors that came to play. Once again, I draw into more economy. So economy is a very limiting factor of this deck. Because I cannot run Sundew like Jiteki RP, what happens is that I'm always finding myself short of credits. Grim and Tsurugi cost a hell lot to rest, as well as stacking up these central servers. The thing with having to only defend a couple of servers is that it gets very expensive quickly to install multiple pieces of ice. So as such, credits are an issue, and if I'm using Sensen to score agendas, it costs all that much more money. So yeah, it's a huge worry for me. But thankfully, with a celebrity gift in my hand, I'm pretty safe from the credit crunch. And he doesn't play Siphon anyway, so I don't feel too bad. Now, I make a very risky move here. I decide that I really need the credits, and so I give him my hand, which contains 6 points worth of agendas, enough for him to win. And I put the Inazuma on HQ. Hopefully that will deter him from making a run. So I'm basically challenging him. Come and get me if you can. I have a sentry, barrier, and code gate on HQ. If you can get in, good luck. And my rationale is that even if he manages to get in, he can only access one card at a time, and he will get depleted of credits very fast. So yeah, he won't be able to make multiple runs. And even if he pulls an agenda out, if he pulls the medical breakthrough, I'll be more than happy to give it to him, because that makes my other medical breakthroughs 3 2s and 2 2s. So that's great. The only thing I'm worried about right now is legwork. He hasn't shown me any influence yet, aside from the Steam Hack, which is a 1 influence, so you can't really tell much from that. But yes, a legwork right now would be disastrous. I'm hoping that won't happen. That would cripple me. Severely cripple me. So he power draws, which means that I get a Tennin token. Alright, so now I activate Jackson, and instead of dumping the agendas into archives, I play my hedge fund, because I'm actually feeling quite confident that he cannot get through my server multiple times. I'm still worried about the legwork, but I don't think it will come. He needs a sentry breaker and a code gate breaker installed in the same turn to have any chance of coming through my server. Yep, because remember that the Cyber Cipher isn't directed at HQ, so that's one huge limitation of Cyber Cipher that is coming to play right here. He can't get in. So he plays another Cyber Cipher on HQ, knowing that there is food to be had there, and he makes a Steam Hack run in there. Alright, I rest the Inazuma. He will use his Cyber Cipher on Inazuma, which means that he has no Sentry Breaker to deal with Surugi, so I end his run. But then I completely forgot that he has a clone chip on the board, so it was very rash of me to end the run there. This is something you cannot do in real tabletop gameplay. You can't just force the runner out of a run like that. But in Octagon, that happens, and yes, I definitely got too ahead of myself there. I was too excited. Haha, you can't get in my server. Oh wait, no, clone chip. Uh-oh. Yep, and with the clone chip, it brings out the dreaded Femme Fatale. That's a nasty card to use. In conjunction with Steam Hack, he makes a very wise choice by femming the 5 advanced ice wall. So now, instead of having to pay, my goodness, 6 credits to break the ice wall, he only needs to pay 1, and he liberates the 1 agenda I didn't want him to get out, which was the Philotic. That was painful, very, very painful. And yeah, I drew into more agendas, but there's nothing I can do about it right now. I can only ice up R&D and hope for the best. I could have iced up HQ, but there's not much point in doing that, because he has a Cyber Cipher directed at HQ right now, which means that the outermost piece of ice is rendered useless. A Grim as the outermost on HQ would be broken for 2, which is ridiculous. Right now he needs to pay 7 to get through HQ, which is still sufficiently taxing, such that he cannot make multiple runs. So that's great. That saved my butt there, because yeah, he's now a match point. If he steals the last medical breakthrough, it's game over for me. I power draw into my deck because I really need to see some sort of fast advance mechanism. Basically a Trick of Light. I haven't seen a single one yet, and that is proving to be a problem, because Trick of Light is one means in which I can reduce agenda density from hand. Now he makes the decision not to run this turn, so I advance the Unrest piece of ice to make him think it's an ice wall. Nope, it's a Grim. If you impale into it, I'm going to take out your Femme Fatale. And since I haven't seen any of my fast advance mechanisms, I'm just going to ice up HQ that much more. I really cannot afford to let him see the last agenda. He will still be able to get through. You can simply click through Eli or pay 2 using Cyber Cipher. Either way, it's not looking good for me. He makes a run on HQ, and I can only hope that he doesn't hit the last agenda. That's the problem with showing your hand with Celebrity Gift. That's the downside that is coming into play right now, and it's really hurting very bad. If I had not shown my hand with Celebrity Gift, he might be randomly hitting R&D right now. He might not have discarded his Cyber Cipher on R&D. You know, a lot of might haves that bad decisions that he might have made due to lack of knowledge that could have kept me in the game. But alas, that was not to be. At least I joined my Trick of Light so I can get rid of the last agenda in my hand. So now I don't have to worry about him hitting H3 anymore, because the worst he can do is to hit my clone retirement. That won't win him the game. Well, that's exactly what he does. He gets to 6 points, but that's not enough to win the game. So the only thing I'm really worried about is that now he has one bad publicity. My entire game plan is centered around taxing him sufficiently such that he can only make one run per turn. If the tax is not there, game over. And one bad pump means that it's essentially a pet campaign for him working every single turn. That's not ideal for me. So yeah, giving him the bad publicity is not helping me, my cause at all. And as you can expect, he's now going to hit HQ harder and harder, thinking there are lots of agendas in there. But if he had been paying close attention, he should have realized that all the agendas that I show him with gift have all been liberated or stolen. Of course, it's safe to assume that there are more agendas that I collected on the way, but this is a very high risk, low reward, or rather high cost, low reward play, because he doesn't really know my agenda density in hand, and Steam Hack only allows him to access one card. So yeah, he basically played the Steam Hack just to access one card, and obviously I wasn't too worried. The only way he's going to win by accessing HQ is by hitting my Future Perfect and winning the side game. Very marginal play. This is why multi-access is very important, and this is where most shapers will spend at least a bit of their influence on, be it on legwork or nerf agent. And they definitely do run indexings and Maker's Eye and R&D interfaces as well. These are very important cards that really help you get by taxing decks like these. You only need to make a few good runs and you win the game. Simple as that. Right now, Steam Hack runs through HQ are just not going to cut it. So now he retargets the Femme Fatale on Archives. Okay, sure. Go to Archives. More than happy to let you in. Yeah, there are no agendas in Archives, even though I've been dumping lots of cards. Nope, there are no agendas there. I'm not sure where he's going with this. Oh, that's right, it's Ningzao Beta, of course. Well, I'm more than happy. Come on in. No agendas in HQ, except for that Future Perfect, which you probably won't be able to steal. So yeah, come on in, be my guest. Tsurugi. Nope, none in here. Alright, I joined my Trick of Light. So I'm basically at match point as well. If you haven't realized by now, I've managed to catch up. I'm at 5 points now. I only need the last 2-pointer agenda to win. That's 2 Brain Trusts and the 2/2 Medical Breakthrough left in my deck. I find any of these 3 agendas in my R&D of 70 cards, I win the game. So I show him the bad news. I Celebrity Gift my hand. That is usually a move I wouldn't make, but because he basically pressed the self-destruct button when he installed the Snake Door Beta, because he uninstalled both the Snowball and the Cyber Cipher, which means that now he has no means of getting into HQ or R&D. His Femme Fatale is directed at Archives, and he has no Code Gate or Barrier Breaker out. He just made a huge mistake. He basically shut himself out of route to victory, and that is a very huge mistake. He wrongly assumed that I was flooded with agendas in HQ, and I showed him that that wasn't the case. So yeah, I iced up Archives just in case he decides to go for the Jugular by trying to hit my Future Perfect. And the Archive Memories brought back a Yagura, because I still feel that R&D is quite unsafe. Because all there is porous ice. Grim doesn't end the run, Yagura doesn't end the run, and Eli can be kicked through. So I want another Yagura on top, in case he decides to index me or something. Alright, so he does bring out a torch. That should help him get back into the game. He runs on Archives for some reason, and I res the Ice Wall to deactivate Kit's ability. Paying 1 to deactivate Kit's ability is worth it. The main thing I'm worried about now is that he will bounce off to a run on R&D, and I definitely want to deactivate Kit's ability so that he'll have to eat a Grim in the face. right now he doesn't really have the capability to pay for Grim. So right now there are two things on my mind. Because I know that there are no agendas in Archives or HQ, my only vulnerable zone left is R&D. If I ever top that agenda from R&D, I win the game straight. So now my only concern is protecting R&D. I draw into more cards, I can't find my agenda, so I'm thinking of more ways to protect R&D. I play a restructure. So there are two things I need to do. Firstly, I need to keep my economy afloat. Right now, I believe, yes, I have 2 Grims stacked on R&D that it doesn't know of. What I'm looking to do is to keep my credit pool above 11 or more. This will allow me to rest 2 Grims and on the subsequent turn, be able to top deck a 2-point agenda and still score it. Oh, sorry. I need to keep more than 12 credits or more to win the game. I need 2 credits to score a 2-point agenda. Yeah, to fast advance a 2-point agenda from camp. Alright, so I protect R&D even more by using another archive memories to retrieve another ice from my keep. Yeah, so now R&D is 5 stack. You can see clearly that my only goal left in life is to secure R&D. Maker's Eye run, indexing run, whatever, as long as he doesn't get in. So I'm making sure that he does not have the required amount of credits to win the game. But I top deck the Brain Trust, and that does it for me. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much Fast Advance in a nutshell. If you let Fast Advance get their agendas out, they can get to a point where they only need to defend one server to win the game. And at that point, it becomes incredibly hard as the runner to do anything about it. It's a very strong deck. As I said, there are many advantages to playing no remotes. And nowadays, there are lots of decks that capitalize on the corps that make remotes. Criminals have security testing, which allows them to get money from running naked remotes. Anarchs have aim, wizard, and scrubber infection. Even scrubber only costs 1 influence and is a popular splash in other factions such as Nasir builds. And wizard is a popular choice if you are playing Anarch because the 3 recurring credits can do so much work against decks since practically every deck plays Jetson. Shapers, yeah, and criminals have Desperado, so they are not afraid to run remotes, check them, and gain a credit while they're at it. So yeah, that Shapers I guess not so much, but they have Magna Opus, which means they can trash your assets easily. So playing assetless, remoteless is quite a huge advantage to have, and it's a reason why there have been multiple successful Tennin decks in the Steam Hack tournament records. It's definitely an unstoppable beast once it gets going. And it's pretty resilient to Siphon as well. Do keep in mind, because it only takes 2 credits from a standing start to score Fast Advance any agenda. 1 credit to Trick of Light and 1 more to advance it 1 more time. So yes, Tennin definitely has fangs. It's a very dangerous ID card that many should be worried about when they see it at a tournament play. Thanks for watching. Happy net running.